Hi, this is Myra with Boutique Paint. Today we are going to use a stencil to bleach an image onto this little girl's jean skirt. And we're using our own design. This is butterflies. And we're going to start by taping off a little bit of the butterfly that's next to it. So then when I spray, I don't have any of the bleach overspray onto the jean skirt. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of tape. That should be good enough. And then I'm gonna flip this over, and I'm working on a mat so that, and then I'm gonna put a paper towel underneath it for putting the adhesive on the back of this stencil. And I use it in a little spray bottle. And sometimes it does get a little plugged up right here, so you just want to clean that off, and you can do it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. But they come in different ways. You can paint it on with a foam brush, or you can spray it on. I'm hoping this will spray okay. So it's a little sticky. I just want a paper towel under there so that the overspray doesn't go on whatever's underneath. And then you need to let this dry. Yep, it's a little sticky. We're going to let this dry, and then we will flip it over and put it on our skirt, and we'll go from there. So I put a little bit of bleach into a spray bottle. And just for your own knowledge, if you don't know this, bleach goes bad. It goes bad in about a year, and it stops working. So I had grabbed a bottle that I thought was maybe a year old, and then I started thinking about it. It might be closer to 3 years old. So I ran and grabbed a brand new bottle, and you can get them in smaller containers so that if you don't use a lot of bleach, you don't have a lot of bleach just sitting around. So I poured it into the spray bottle, and then I'm just going to spritz this. And this is a fine mist spray bottle. And I think, just to be extra careful, since I am doing this inside, I'm going to grab a couple pieces of plastic just to shield off the rest of that. So we're just going to spray it. Nope, that is going. Because it's fine mist, it wants to go places I don't want it to go. So I'm going to mask it off a little bit better. Just plastic sheets. There we go. All right. So you really want to get this nice and wet, and you can get closer like that. And then lift these off carefully so none of it dribbles off. And then we're going to put it outside. So you can already see that the image is starting to come through. I'm hoping that this right here isn't going to be too much of a bleach spot. I'm not sure what's happening there, but we'll let the sun do its thing and come back and check on it here in a minute. So my first attempt at this, which was spraying bleach to make the impression, didn't work as well as I wanted it to. So I was talking to my son, and he, being the smart young man that he is, suggested I take some bleach and put a little cornstarch in it and mix it up. And it doesn't make it super thick, but it does thicken it up a little bit. And I would suggest you just put a little bit of bleach in a bowl or a container, and then just add cornstarch. This is actually probably 4 times the amount of cornstarch to bleach, and it still didn't thicken it up huge, but it does give it a little bit of body. You could take a foam paintbrush and just kind of dab it on there with the bleach. What I'm trying to get away from is the bleach going underneath, and that's why we actually use the adhesive on the back of this stencil. So we're going to give this a try and see how this works with the cornstarch in there. And the cornstarch will just wash right out if it leaves it with kind of a milky haze over the top of it. I don't think I mixed up enough though. So I'm just dabbing this on, and actually a dabber might work better. So if I got one sitting in here, I do. You just really want to work in, and hopefully it doesn't bleed under. That's what we're trying to avoid. Set that aside. And I have to mix up a little bit more of this. You definitely see the cornstarch. So since I have some of the cornstarch on my brush now, I think I'm going to just try. Yeah, see, it's quite a bit wetter, but we'll try it one way on one side with this. It does have cornstarch in it though. You can see it. It's thinner, but it's not as thin as just regular bleach. Once again, you want to take, when you go to take the stencil off, put it someplace or rinse it off immediately. That's what I would recommend, just so that you're getting the bleach off of it and you don't accidentally dab it up against something and take all the bleach right out of your own clothes that you don't want the bleach out of. Okay, so I'm going to take that out to the sun now, and we'll see what we come up with. So this is what it's looking like after about 30 minutes out in the sun. Because it has the cornstarch, I'm not sure if that's what I'm seeing or if I'm seeing the bleach come through. So I'm going to take it in and rinse it in the sink and see what happens then. So this is our product after it's been rinsed out in the sink. I did not wash it yet because there's one more step, but I wanted to go over a few things with you first. I think it came out really nice with the bleach cornstarch combination. You can see that there's a little bit of difference in coloring here. I think it kind of makes it a cool batik look. But if you want to be a little bit more consistent, I would suggest taking a paintbrush with the mixture on there and maybe getting in there once you see it's starting to do something in the sun, and just kind of, you know, fill in. You can see here there's this nonsense, which was when I sprayed it with the bleach as opposed to painting it on with the bleach cornstarch mixture. I had bleed underneath my stencil, even though I had the glue on the back. And so that's one of the troubles when you're using something that's really liquidy. It can still crawl, where if you're using something that's a little thicker, a little bit more like a gel, it's less likely to crawl. I have done it with just spraying it and the bleach and had no problem. I don't know if it's because I sprayed it in here and then walked outside with it, and maybe it started moving at that point. I kind of doubt it. So I really like using the bleach and the cornstarch, which was about a ratio of 3 parts or 4 parts cornstarch to 1 part bleach. I just used my stick and stirred it in, and made a not a thick paste, but just kind of thickened up the bleach a little bit, and it seems to work out pretty nicely. So I was trying to do something that you might have at home so that you're not going out and buying a different product. That being said, I am experimenting with a different product, and I'll let you know in the next video how that one turns out, just so that you have options. The thing that I will do next, though, before I wash it, is I will take 1 part hydrogen peroxide and 10 parts water, and I will put that in this whole thing into that bath of water and let it sit for 10 minutes. And then that neutralizes the bleach so that it doesn't continue to break down the fibers. You can wash it. It's still, until you neutralize the bleach, it will continue to deteriorate the fibers over time. That doesn't mean it's going to disintegrate on you, but it will, over time, just kind of break down the fibers.